Tonight, Taliban victory. Celebrations in the streets after the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, with up to 200 Americans left behind. Plus, the heartbeat bill.
If a physician performs the abortion, then they can be sued by a private citizen.
Texas bans any abortion after a heartbeat is detected in the womb. This amid a cultural shift.
An abortion-minded woman comes in. She's been told it's a blob of tissue. She sees the ultrasound, and bingo.
Abortion clinics closing as more pregnancy centers helping mothers across the country open. All this and more tonight on Faith Nation.
The U.S. military operation in Afghanistan may be over, but the political fallout is only beginning to heat up. Welcome to Faith Nation. I'm John Jessup.
Good evening, I'm Jenna Browder. Well, President Biden officially marking an end to America's forever war. But tonight, he and his administration face a firestorm of criticism over how they handled the troop withdrawal. That criticism coming at them from all sides.
Meanwhile, the Biden White House continues to tout the withdrawal as a success, praising the U.S. service members who helped evacuate 6,000 American citizens and 124,000 Afghan civilians. With more on the aftermath of the ending of America's longest war, Capitol Hill correspondent Abigail Robertson. Abby.
Thanks, John. Well, just about 48 hours since the last U.S. troops left Afghanistan, General Mark Milley says he understands that of the 800,000 troops who served in the country over the last 20 years are going to have very different views on the withdrawal. But he assures them that they did not serve in vain, and he encourages them to look back on their mission with thoughtfulness and respect.
And we're going to learn from this experience as a military. How we got to this moment in Afghanistan will be analyzed and studied for years to come. These have been incredibly emotional and trying days, and indeed years. We are all conflicted with feelings of pain and anger, sorrow and sadness, combined with pride and resilience.
New footage was released today of the last U.S. troops leaving Afghanistan just before midnight on Monday, marking the end of the 20-year war. The Taliban has taken to the streets to celebrate, holding a mock funeral for the United States and our allies, parading coffins draped in U.S. and NATO flags, while also firing off guns and fireworks and posing in left-behind military equipment. And White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said today that the State Department is working to get the remaining U.S. citizens and Afghan allies out of the country. And she claims that every refugee that is coming into the United States has been thoroughly vetted.
I can absolutely assure you that no one is coming into the United States of America who has not been through a thorough screening and background check process. And there are many individuals, as you noted, who have not been through that process, and they have gone to lily pad countries as that process has been completed. It doesn't mean that that's because there's a flag. It means they have not completed their paperwork, and we were working to save tens of thousands of people, hence we evacuated them to these third countries.
Psaki added that the reality is that not everyone who wants to leave Afghanistan will be able to, but she says the administration and State Department will stay in touch with the U.S. citizens still in the country, hoping to leave, and do their best to get them out through diplomatic channels. John, Jenna.
All right, Abigail Robertson, thank you very much. And joining us now is CBN's chief political analyst, David Brody. David, the president under fire from all sides tonight. The Wall Street Journal today editorial board had an opinion piece titled "A Dishonest Afghanistan Accounting." I want to read a quote for you. President Biden's defiant accusatory defense of his Afghanistan withdrawal and its execution was so dishonest and so lacking in self-reflection or accountability that it was unworthy of the sacrifices Americans have made in that conflict. David, your thoughts?
Spot on analysis. Couldn't say it better myself. Look, we all want to succeed as a country, as it relates to Afghanistan and what happened there. But the truth of the matter is this: Joe Biden was dishonest with the American people. And there are 2 points to point out here. Number one, there were more than just 2 options, as the Wall Street Journal points out. You know, this idea that it was either escalation or total withdrawal is not true. He was given many other different options somewhere in the middle. Number two, he said he would not leave Americans behind. He actually said those words, I will not leave Americans behind. Americans have been left behind in Afghanistan, so he has lied. And then beyond just that, there's so much more to talk about as it relates to what he has done over there. He says over and over and over again that he was surprised the Taliban took over so quickly and that the Afghan army just kind of kaput, just left. And the president of Afghanistan just kind of, wow, he left the country, had no idea. That's a load. That's a load. That's not true. Joe Biden's a smart man. 46 years as a United States Senator, 20 years with Afghanistan. He knew the deal. No joke, not being facetious. He understood exactly that that was a soft Afghan army, and he's selling the American people a bill of goods that is basically making us all look like fools, to say that he had no idea this was all going to happen. Of course he had an idea, and Milley had an idea, and they all had an idea, and it's a cover-up. And so it's dishonest. It's dishonest, and everybody talks about Donald Trump and his moral issues, and he's got plenty, by the way. We can go through them anytime you'd like. But Joe Biden, who ran as the moral president, has been dishonest when it comes to Afghanistan.
David, that same editorial says the administration is trying to close the books on Afghanistan and pivot to domestic affairs. David, if that happens, do you see the press letting up on this, given the less than favorable reporting that's been out there already?
Well, we'll see what the press does. The press did a great job holding Joe Biden accountable on all of this. I thought CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post, I can go through the legacy media. They did a very good job holding his feet to the fire on this. So you've got to give them kudos, give credit where credit is due. I think the problem for the Biden administration is that the ineptitude that they showed as it relates to how we got out of Afghanistan is transferable not just to Afghanistan, but to other issues. In other words, if Americans see that Joe Biden and this administration bungled it on Afghanistan, what else are they bungling? Crime in America, COVID, the economy, you go down the list. And that's just not analysis for me. If you look at the poll numbers, his poll numbers are cratering in many other areas. And I think Afghanistan is not just a one-off. It's not just an issue that Democrats think they can turn to and move on. I don't think this is a move-on issue. I'm not suggesting people are going to vote against Democrats because of Afghanistan in 2022. But I do think that the Biden administration, if they think they can just move on from Afghanistan, I think it's a transferable issue to many other issues.
Yeah, we'll see. There's a new Morning Consult poll, Politico poll out today. 6 in 10 voters think we are on the wrong track. David Brody, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much.
Thanks, David.
You bet, guys. Thank you.
Well, tonight, Texas making waves on the abortion front, where it's now illegal to abort a baby with a heartbeat. Yeah, the unique element of this heartbeat bill is that private citizens can sue anyone who helps someone facilitate an illegal abortion. CBN's Brody Carter joins us. Brody, the Supreme Court decision not to rule on this case is seen as a pretty big win for the pro-life community.
John, Jen, it certainly is, but the White House, which considers abortion as a healthcare necessity, is calling the Texas legislature's decision unconstitutional. Take a listen.
Its extreme Texas law blatantly violates the constitutional right established under Roe v. Wade and upheld as precedent for nearly half a century. It will significantly impair women's access to the health care they need, particularly for communities of color and individuals with low incomes. It also deputizes private citizens to bring lawsuits against anyone who they believe has helped another person get an abortion.
Statistics show there could be as many as 3,000 abortions in the U.S. each day. And while this heartbeat bill is expected to trim that number in Texas, it's also reminding the country about life inside the womb.
So as of today, babies in Texas are being saved.
Aborting a baby with a heartbeat is now a crime in the state of Texas.
What unimagined joy it is to see Roe crumbling in front of our very eyes.
Senate Bill 8 makes it illegal to abort a baby once a heartbeat is detected, which can happen as early as 5 weeks into the pregnancy. What's key is this law won't be enforced by police. It'll be in the hands of private citizens.
The abortion lobby is freaking out and, they're saying, you can put a bounty on someone's head if you take them to have an illegal abortion. But, the answer to that is, well, then don't take someone to have an illegal abortion. abortion.
Alexis McGill Johnson, president of Planned Parenthood, said in a tweet their abortion clinics would remain open in Texas, promising to help Texans, quote, navigate this dangerous law. Just hours before the law went into effect, the pro-abortion organization asked the Supreme Court for an emergency injunction, but the High Court didn't intervene.
All of America is a little bit confused right now, even pro-lifers. Where is the court? But we know one thing, Roe is crumbling, and it's a really exciting time to be a pro-lifer.
The Supreme Court already has a major pro-life case on its hands to be considered this fall. That's the Dobbs late abortion case. And when they're going to address the very question of whether bans on abortion before the point of viability are always unconstitutional or whether there are exceptions there.
The Supreme Court can still respond to the injunction. For now, however, this becomes the law of the land in Texas and is expected to save the lives of 150 babies each day.
I worked at Planned Parenthood for 8 years as a clinic director. I saw a 13-week-old baby fight and struggle for his life against the abortion instruments. And I knew then that there was life in the womb, there was humanity in the womb. And if those two things were true, then I knew that I was on the wrong side of this debate.
It's important to note those private citizens who report someone seeking an illegal abortion could be compensated up to $10,000. In addition to this new law, Texas representatives also passed a bill to decrease the time frame that a woman can receive a chemical abortion from 10 weeks into pregnancy to 7 weeks. John, Jenna, back to you.
CBN's Brody Carter. Thank you, Brody. Well, shockwaves coming from the FDA with two of the agency's top vaccine leaders announcing bombshell resignations. The departures of Vaccine Research Director Marian Gruber and Deputy Director Phil Krause come as the federal regulator weighs whether to authorize booster shots for adults and vaccinations for children as young as 5. This as millions of kids head back to school and pediatric cases continue to rise, with more than 204,000 reported last week, and with 300 kids daily being hospitalized.
Here with us now, CBN News medical reporter Lori Johnson. Lori, let's start with these resignations with the FDA. How significant are they?
Well, Jenna, they're really sort of a black eye for President Biden because these FDA representatives who have been with the agency for decades and are very highly regarded, they quit after President Biden went on television a number of weeks ago and told the American people that 8 weeks after they were fully vaccinated, they would need a booster shot, and that the FDA would be authorizing those boosters by September 20th. And now it turns out the FDA really didn't know anything about that. And so they said that they really don't have the data to support that type of a statement that the president made. And they also feel that the president, by saying that, is pressuring the FDA to authorize these boosters, and they may not really feel that the science is there to do that. So it really speaks to the integrity of these two FDA officials. But again, it's a problem that we've seen with President Biden and the FDA, because remember, President Biden has been in office for more than 7 months, and he has yet to name an FDA commissioner in the middle of a pandemic. He's getting pressure from both sides of the aisle, and he just won't do it.
Lori, as you well know, because it's a topic you hit on the 700 Club earlier today, many of the millions of kids that are heading back to school find themselves stuck in the middle of a heated debate between parents, school administrators, and even government officials about whether to mask up. Lori, any advice on how parents on both sides of the debate can navigate this stark divide?
Well, really the best thing parents can do is go to the school board meetings, because it's usually the local school boards that are making these decisions. And as we've seen, some of these school board meetings get very heated because parents are basically split right down the middle. And so we've been seeing these parents in these awful shouting matches. And believe it or not, some of these school board meetings have actually gotten violent. But a new Gallup poll shows that 48% of parents favor mask mandates in school. 41% want masks to be optional, and 11% say they want only the unvaccinated kids to be masked up. So yes, it's a very contentious problem. Here's something that everyone can agree on, is that in-person learning is what's best for children. And if these school outbreaks become too much, the schools are going to have to shut down and the kids are going to have to go back to distance learning, which no one wants.
All right, CBN medical reporter Lori Johnson, it's great to get your take. We always appreciate your wisdom and your insight, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
And coming up, a big announcement from Facebook, what it means for political content on your news feed.
But having sex before you marry is a bad idea. Don't tell me there's no such thing as gun violence.
That just depends on your definition of when life begins.
Watch Dan and Dale tackle trending topics that test your faith on the next Faith Wire. Monday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel. The Global Lane takes you around the world, providing facts over fiction.
What might rising trade and geopolitical tensions mean for you on the home front?
With over 45 years of experience, award-winning journalist Gary Lane brings you the truth from a global angle.
What about the issue of immigration?
World news analysis you won't see anywhere else.
And it's all right here on the Global Lane.
Thursday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Welcome back. Well, for those of you who have Facebook, you might start to notice fewer and fewer political posts. The social media giant announcing today it will begin limiting political content on users' news feeds. Since February, Facebook has tested this reduction in political posts, and after what it calls positive results, it's now expanding those tests to more users here in the States and abroad.
Well, joining us now is Tony Perkins, president of the Family Research Council. Tony, welcome back to Faith Nation. You are in Louisiana, as I understand, so we'd be remiss not to ask, how bad is it down there, Tony, and what are people doing to help?
Well, it's pretty bad. We're getting too accustomed to these storms. The southeastern portion of the state hit the hardest down at the coast, as would be expected, but all the way up into past New Orleans, Laplace. Louisiana, those areas hit pretty hard. Hammond as well. We're helping coordinate some of the relief efforts. So we'll continue to encourage people to pray and support organizations like Samaritan's Purse and others who are already here on the ground helping citizens recover.
Yeah. Well, Tony, we wish you and your family the very best and a quick recovery for everybody down there. We do want to talk to you about a couple of topics here. Facebook's move to reduce posts regarding politics. They say it's in response to user feedback. Tony, what's your thought on that?
Well, I'm not so sure that it's user feedback. How do we know? But look, remember back during the election where they began to limit and, in fact, ban political ads and issue ads. So I think this is just a continuation, but this time it's organic material that's being restricted. Now, look, there was a Pew poll that was released earlier this week that shows that Republicans' trustworthiness of the media has, legacy media that is, has dropped by 50%. But right on its heels is social media. And I think this is why when you see Facebook restricting the content that people see or just not showing it, it raises more suspicion, especially when you look at the organizations that Facebook is aligned with or big tech is aligned with, like Southern Poverty Law Center, that has a clear mission, that is to silence Christian and conservative voices.
Tony, to the Texas abortion law, which we just talked about a few minutes ago, what do you think it would mean for the status quo if the Supreme Court winds up taking a case challenging the foundation of Roe v. Wade?
Well, I think this is a very significant moment. This is the first time in 48 years that we have had a state that is protecting the unborn after the point of 6 weeks. This is quite significant, and the fact that the law has gone into effect, and of course we're waiting to see what happens from the Supreme Court. There's also the Dobbs case, which oral arguments are going to be had this fall. But look, this is an area that we should be very happy about. We're seeing this progression of America moving back to a predominantly pro-life nation. And the reason is we've not given up. We've continued to advocate for the unborn. We've continued to help the mothers who find themselves in unwanted pregnancies. This is what happens when you don't grow weary in doing good. And so I'm encouraged by what Texas has done. I'm encouraged by the initial fact that this has gone into effect. Of course, we'll wait to see what the court does. But we're winning on life, and this is an example of why we just need to stay the course when we know what is right and what is just.
And we know that there are other cases like the Mississippi case that's also gaining a lot of attention. Tony Perkins, thank you so much for being with us today. And as Jenna said earlier, we wish you and everyone in Louisiana the best.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tony. When we come back, cultural shift. Pregnancy centers now outnumbering abortion clinics. What it could mean for Roe v. Wade.
Want to be a part of a community that inspires your spiritual growth while winning prizes? The all-new MyCBN app. Connect with the community for prayer and encouragement. Track and set spiritual goals. Enjoy conversation starters with friends and family. And collect points to win prizes. The all-new MyCBN app. A great place to belong. Download the app at cbn.com/mobile. Grow, connect, have fun. The all-new MyCBN app.
On the home front. Thanks for joining us for CBN's On the Home Front, where we highlight what the men and women of America's military do to defend our country. CBN honors the men and women in our military with an initiative called Helping the Home Front. It partners with churches across the country to meet the needs of their military families, from repairing homes to wiping out medical bills for wounded veterans.
Wednesday at 3 on the CBN News Channel.
Too often, we carry baggage from our past. You know what it's like. It affects everything and everyone in our lives. It's always there, weighing us down and keeping us from achieving true happiness. But do you know God never meant for us to be trapped in the past? You can be free of your baggage. Learn how God's forgiveness leads to changed lives and new beginnings. Call the 700 Club.
Well, welcome back. It appears a cultural shift is taking place in America. Abortion clinics are closing while more pro-life pregnancy centers are setting up shop, outnumbering abortion clinics by a rate of 4 to 1.
Yeah, now with a more conservative Supreme Court, pro-life advocates see a real chance to strike down Roe v. Wade. So does that mean pro-abortion forces will just pick up and go home? Charlene Aaron reports on what lies ahead in the fight.
For 25 years, the National Institute of Family and Life Advocates, or NIFLA, has equipped pregnancy centers to serve women and their communities. Now, after all the time, work, and money, its leaders and supporters are talking about the potential end of legalized abortion in America.
The numbers and accomplishments tell the story of how this organization helps women choose life. Some 1,600 U.S. pregnancy centers, the introduction of using ultrasounds to the pro-life movement.
Since we started that, over 1,300 pro-life medical clinics utilizing ultrasound are in existence across the country. And an abortion-minded woman comes in, she's been told it's a blob of tissue, she sees the ultrasound, and bingo, we've seen huge numbers of women choose life because of that.
Alveda King applauds the boots-on-the-ground work.
The pregnancy care centers are the heart of the pro-life movement. And the reason I believe that, they don't just say to a mother who comes to the door and she's pregnant and faced with a decision to birth a child or not, but they speak to the mother, they support the birth of the child, the father is welcome, and the community is welcome. So I'm very fond of NIFLA's work.
NIFLA recently hosted a gathering of pro-lifers as part of its annual Leadership Summit. It comes at a time when many in the movement are more hopeful than ever that the Roe v. Wade decision might be overturned. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Thank you, Charlene. Still ahead, how some residents in hard-hit Louisiana are stepping in and taking relief efforts into their own hands. Next.
Are you suffering from feeling tired or worn out during the day? Can you not turn off your brain at night? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Bruce, the sleep doctor, and I've partnered with the Christian Broadcasting Network, and we're going to bring you some unbelievable information that you can use tonight to get a better night's rest.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free copy of Protect Your Sleep today.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living Tuesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Those for balls, man. Come.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Finally tonight, rescue and relief efforts continue in Louisiana in the aftermath of Hurricane Ida.
Government officials are deep into water rescues, but local residents are chipping in too. Vincent Docello's community of Lafitte was hit hard by the storm, leaving many without power. So he started responding to Facebook posts from people desperately looking for updates on their family. Docello now searches homes for survivors and carries them to safety while broadcasting on Facebook Live. Jenna, you know I'm not big on social media, but I think this is one way to use social media in good effect.
Oh, no kidding. He's a hero for that community.
For sure.
Good work. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us.
See you back tomorrow.